Hello everybody and welcome again to Inside the Headset with Coach Philip Shadowens. Here we are at week 4, game 5, and we're headed to Laverne. So Coach, what you been doing the last couple of days since we went to Cane Ridge on last Friday?
Obviously, had a great first half last week, up 24-0 in the half. Played great defense last week. Didn't execute as well offensively in the second half as we wanted to, but just trying to build on the effort from last week, and I thought we were really physical last week on Friday night, which is kind of was our focus, being a more physical football team and a tougher individuals and tougher as a team, and I thought we did that. Obviously, Laverne presents you a lot of problems, a lot of the same problems that Cane Ridge can present, except they have a quarterback that can really run, and so a lot of 5-wide stuff and a quarterback that can run and can throw. So Laverne presents you great problems defensively. They're an attacking defense, and they blitz a lot and do so with a lot of speed. So it's going to be a challenge for us, and we've been working to get better. And that's here tomorrow night.
Yeah, homecoming. How's that been going? You know, a lot of distractions, I'm sure, through the week with kids being running around and in and out and not in class. Everybody's been through homecoming that's been through high school, so kind of how they've been handling it.
They do a good job here. They're not really losing a lot of class time. Tomorrow, now the game day, that's when most everything is done here at Blackman, and there'll be a parade, and there'll be a little carnival type thing, and there'll be powder puff football and pep rallies and all kinds of things tomorrow. So tomorrow will be the day that's really kind of a waste day, you know, as far as the kids out of school all day, out of class all day. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge, but you know, we have a group of seniors that I think are mature enough to handle that, and so it's been a very pleasant homecoming week, and I'm looking forward to seeing a big crowd tomorrow night at homecoming, and it ought to be fun.
Speaking of the seniors, leadership-wise, are they starting to take control at this point of the season and start to grab the team and kind of lead them and take them along? Are you starting to see those leaders stand up and take over the team?
Yeah, you're starting to see them make progress. I mean, I think sometime in the middle of the season, the kids start to realize as seniors that, hey, you know, tomorrow night we're halfway through the season,
yeah.
You know, and so you start to realize that it will be over, and you know, in the beginning of the season, you don't realize that. You know, you're in 3-a-days and you're worried about those kind of things. But all of a sudden, about halfway through, I mean, almost every senior class, that's a good senior class, like we have, realizes that, hey, it's time to crank this thing up. And our seniors have done a great job of leading us in practice, kind of step forward, which is what I want to see them do.
Wednesday, everybody got out a little early, and was you able to practice early, or did you have to wait till the 3 o'clock hour? Or?
No, we wait. Because teachers have meetings.
Okay, that's a lot of fun.
Kids get out early, but teachers are in meetings. And so we started at 3:30, which was a little bit 30 minutes early for us. We usually don't start till 4 or 4:10. But so we got them out here a little bit early yesterday. You know, 30 or 40 minutes earlier than normal. Good Thursday walk-through practice like normal, and so it's been another good week of practice. You know, I hadn't beat them to death this week. We're physical in practice, but you know, you got to be, you know, you want to be real physical, but at the same time, you got to be smart in practice also. So, so we've worked a lot this week. Kids have been, you know, done the things we've asked them to do. They worked really hard. Had 4 good days of practice, and so, you know, now we're ready to go. I mean, our kids have done what we've asked them to do, and I've been proud of that. So I'm ready for 7:30 tomorrow night.
Well, I hold the question. It was in the paper on Sunday, and Tom's quick notes, and that is, how's the eye? How's the eye? Octavius?
It's fine.
Okay, good.
He could have played last week in the second half.
Well, I thought so. I just noticed it was it's like what you said. It was a tweak. It just seemed like even when I was watching it, it wasn't bad or anything. It was just.
No, he got up and played. I mean, he got up, went back in the next series,
right.
And you know, made some good plays. You know, had a big screen pass and had a big screen pass for about 30 yards or 27 yards, whatever it was. But we just chose, because we're up 24-0 at half. I just chose to set him out. He could have played. If it had been a game in jeopardy, that was a tight game, then he would have played. But you know, same thing this week in practice. We worked, did a lot of rehab stuff on Monday, and let him practice some. Tuesday let him practice a little more. And then yesterday he was practicing fully, you know, like everybody else. So, so he's 100%. I don't see any side effects, ill effects, whatever, from the slight little sprain that he had, and you know, I expect him to have a good night tomorrow night.
Kind of off the course, but still on the course. Alabama will play Mark Ingram on Saturday after an MCL operation and everything. And you've had kids over your 17 years that have been through surgery. Some, just not good, and then some quick and stuff. What's your, from your overall feeling? What's your thoughts on? Do you think it's a little quick, Coach?
For a kid like Mark Ingram with so much muscle mass, probably not. No.
Really?
No. he just had a little scope, is what he had. So from what I hear in the news, I mean, I don't know, I'm not Alabama, but a kid that has that kind of muscle mass in his legs, usually rehab's a little bit easier than for a thin kid or a girl who has thin legs. But for a kid as big as Mark Ingram and as muscular, he probably could have played last week. I mean, if it should be known, yeah. I mean, those type of injuries a lot of times don't. Depends on what kind of cartilage is damaged or whatever. But obviously, it wasn't his weight-bearing cartilage. It wasn't his lateral cartilage. It was probably something on the inside of his knee. Non-weight bearing, takes 2 weeks, and they held him out 3. So they probably gave him 1 more week than he actually absolutely had to have.
Interesting.
For high school kids, it's different.
Because they're not as mature.
Well, not as mature. The muscles aren't as developed, obviously. But I've seen kids get a scope and be back in 3 weeks in high school. Just depends on which cartilage it is and whether it's weight bearing or not. But you got to be careful in high school, especially. I mean, when you get knee injuries, I mean, you want to go to good orthopedic, which we're blessed with. With TOA here and Dr. Johns, Dr. Jordan, and the rest of that group. You got to be smart about knees. I mean, obviously, especially with young people. But the technology and the advancement in medicine has been incredible from the knee surgeries we had back when I was in high school, which was devastating for really for your whole athletic career. It's basically over if you had an ACL back when I was in high school, which I had one. But nowadays the surgery has become so much more advanced that people can come back a lot quicker and things can happen that you never could have happened even a decade ago, let alone 20-some years ago.
Special teams got back on track last week. A couple of field goals went right through the uprights and had to make the head coach feel good.
Absolutely. I thought Jason worked really hard last week and has worked really hard this week. We've really focused on punting a lot this week and just on his game and punting and really exploding through the ball. And I thought he did a good job of that last week when we kicked the ball. We didn't punt too much last week, but when we kicked the ball, he kicked everything but 1 into the end zone. He kicked 2 field goals and obviously hit all his extra points. But even on one of his kickoffs, it almost went through the uprights. So he's starting to explode back through the ball. I think he'd got a little bit away from. He'd got more mechanical. Worried about being perfect mechanically, and instead of just exploding through the ball. And I think he's beginning to focus more on, yes, I've got to be good mechanically, but I still got to explode through the ball. And when he does that, he's the best kicker around. And we've seen that in practice this week. Saw it last week on Friday night, and we've seen it this week in practice where it's really exploding off his leg right now. And that's a great weapon to have.
Oh, it is.
So he's done a heck of a job, and we're ready to. He's ready to go, and whatever we ask him to do, I'd feel good about asking him to kick anything 50 yards and in from a field goal. He's got plenty of leg for all that. So I mean, I'm pleased with our special teams kicker, not pleased with our special teams. Didn't think we did a very good job in coverage Friday night. And even some of those that went in the end zone, I didn't feel like we were in the right position. I mean, we're almost expecting him to kick it in the end zone. And our players that are covering our players that are covering have to have the other attitude. They have to expect it not to go in the end zone. And same thing on our punt team. I haven't been very, very pleased with our punt coverage. We spent extra time on our punt coverage team this week. And, I thought we were more physical last week, but in special teams, I didn't think we were more physical at all. So we've worked hard on that this week, and I hope to see an improvement on all 3 facets of the ball game. That's what we're really looking for, is to improve on offense, defense, and special teams, and we expect to see that this week.
Well, good. Well, I think we've been over just quite a few things. We've been over Stanton Stevens' Laverne Wolverines, and you brushed over that pretty quick and about what they can do offensively and defensively. We've been over the injury report and talked about a little bit about special teams, talked a little bit about injury. Is there anything else on your mind at this present time? We're almost going to be halfway through the season.
Right.
It's flying by, Coach.
Yeah, tomorrow night is Game 5, and so we're halfway through after tomorrow night with our regular season, and obviously we have aspirations for the seasons to continue.
Yes, sir.
Further, but and we have a good enough football team that we can do some special things here. So the thing we're looking for is improvement every week, and I told the kids that we're going to pull out week 0 video and how we executed things, and we're going to pull out week 5, Game 5 video after tomorrow night, and we're going to compare the two to see if we're maturing and if we're improving like we should at positions, and that'll be a great time for us to evaluate as coaches where we are and maybe things we need to tweak in practice. So this weekend after tomorrow night will be a big evaluation time for us to see where we are, and what I expect tomorrow night is for us to play our best football game of the year. It's going to be a great atmosphere at homecoming. There's always a lot of people here for that, and Blackman's always traveled so well anyway. We always have a good crowd. So I would expect to have a big crowd, and I would expect our fans to see the best we've played all year long. Anything less, I'll be extremely disappointed. So that's our expectations, not just mine, but our football team expects to do that too. So it ought to be fun, and you know, they're a high-powered offense. I mean, he's thrown for 300 yards last 2 weeks. Each of the last 2 weeks, right at 300 yards, and you know, he's very explosive, and they have some explosive receivers, and so you know, it could be a lot of fireworks tomorrow night. And obviously, we hope there's not too many fireworks on their side of the field, but they're talented enough and athletic enough that can happen. So it's going to be a real challenge for us, but we'll be ready.
Good, good. Well, we got a freshman game tonight. We'll ride down to Sam Ridley and play that at 7 o'clock, and then tomorrow night here at the Inferno. The Laverne Wolverines will travel in for homecoming, 7:30 kickoff, Game 5. Be here.